today we're going to be upcycling a few home decor items with DIY paint and some stencils. So I haven't played with stencils in a very long time. We did a little bit yesterday with a cardstock kind of stencil. I have a few stencils here that I absolutely love. I have so many varieties on my website, so I invite you to go peruse on there, lisaboondesigns.com. All the links are in my bio, so you can find them very easily. I have a link tree with all kinds of links. So I have this little stencil that I think I might use on something really small, but we're gonna see. I have Mara LaFay stencils. She's got some gorgeous designs. This is stuff that you can use on furniture, on mixed media. Speaking of which, we're having a mixed media madness on Tuesday. Right here at Lisa Boone Designs, there's also going to be a Crafty Bunch event, so it'll be in a Crafty Bunch group. But look at all of these beautiful stenciled things that you can do on the side of a dresser, or, you know, like I said, mixed media, whatever you would like. So here's one that is absolutely beautiful as well. These stencils are great for adding texture, so you could do raised stencils. I think I'm going to use this one today, and I'm not sure which one else, but I grabbed a couple. So I have mine, and they hang on this bar, and so this way I can see them. And then I think I kept out the IOD stamps that I used yesterday with the text. We might use this, or my handy dandy little one that I always go to, especially for paper crafting. This one, I have it sitting here, so we will see. First, let's go ahead and get started. Tell me how you're doing today, what you did today, the first day of spring. Is this spring forward? Yeah, spring forward, right? Messed me up. I felt like so out of it all day today, but it'll be nice to have longer days. So let me show you what we have. So I have this little box. This is great for toothbrushes, paint brushes. This could sit in the bathroom or in your craft room. Pens, you know, you could put flowers in here. This would be great. And then I have a larger one, so I thought we would paint them. I have a feeling that these might bleed. So we're gonna see. So just to show you the two different sizes. So I've got those two. Put these here. Then this was really interesting. So this is great. A lot of people like minis, you know, and they like to hang. It hangs on the wall. This is something from Hobby Lobby, and I talk about perfection all the time. So if you go to Hobby Lobby and you look at all of the things that they have, they purposely make it look homemade. So we're always struggling. We want it to look perfect. We want it to look beautiful, and we're, you know, slaving over it, trying to make sure that it's absolutely perfect. But I want to show you something. Do you see the drip marks? They do this intentionally. You see how it came over here? It's not perfect. Guys, your crafts, your art, your upcycles do not have to be perfect. This had a metal bow on top, so I took it off. I sanded it down a little bit. It's a little bumpy there. I'm not going to worry about it. I think what I'm going to do is stencil the sides and paint this. I think I might leave it. I don't know if I'm going to leave it all the way wood. Definitely the inside will stay wood. We're going to paint this cross. Take it away, take the red away. So I'm not 100% sure. I have a few different colors of DIY paint sitting here, so we can figure it out. And then I have this ceramic little vase, however you want to call it. I go back and forth. My mother always said vase. So it's textured. The reason I want to paint it is that it has a chip right here. And so as long as it's smooth, you can just take a sanding sponge. I just had it here. So just sand it. And you could put clay, and you can fill it if you wanted. I'm just going to let it go and paint it. It does have a pretty deep thing. Maybe I'll put some, let me get the clay. I have it right here from when we used it the other day, wrapped nice and pretty. We just need a little piece of clay. So I'll go ahead and I'll do that first. Put some glue down and then put the clay. And I have this handy dandy tool that's for clay. Let me show it to you. And then you can like scrape it. So let's do this quick repair and then we're gonna figure out the colors of the boxes. I'm gonna tell you what the colors are. I definitely am gonna be using black minimally. I only have a little bit, but I think I can make it work. I've got aviary. This is the right one, yeah. Remember we used this for the birdhouse and it turned out so beautiful. I still have it here. All of these things are gonna go to the store with me, so I was saving the bird to bring it. But aviary is a beautiful color. Then this is a deep green. This is a newer color. It's called Eden. Let me know what you guys think about that. Hey, I am streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so welcome to everyone. Thank you for subbing. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I so appreciate that. I'm trying to grow it. I'm trying to be intentional. This is vintage linen, which is an off-white. Well, it's white, but not bright white. This is Little Black Dress, which is the blackest that we have. And then this is Old School, which is like the old school slate board, you know, chalkboard. And then I do have a little bit of gold wax. I didn't bring a sealer. We'll figure that part out. Okay, let's do this first. So I'm gonna grab some glue. See if I can get some of this. This is my favorite glue, if I can open it. That is the thing. Ooh, it's right there on top. I'm just gonna put some glue. That's the way to do it. We don't need any more than that. It's probably too much. I'll take some away. All right, put some glue down. And I'm gonna let that sit there for a minute. So we sealed this with press and seal. And I put a damp cloth inside because I really wanted to make sure that my clay by Iron Orchid Design, it's an air dry clay. I want it to stay sealed really well because it dries with air, right? So look, I mean, this is probably too much. I'm gonna put this back. I'm gonna seal it back. And this way, next time I go to use it for something really fun and awesome, I'll have it, right? So I didn't do anything today outside of the house really pretty much today. I was cleaning and I didn't get to finish everything. I didn't even get to do laundry. I still have to do a few things. And I went to see my mother-in-law with my husband, so I had to stop cleaning. I just realized the dogs got me dirty. I brought my little one to her house she's just gotten a little, I don't know what it is. It's a poodle mix. It's one of those, it's a toy. It's a mixed poodle. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, her dog is so stinking hyper. Oh my God, I've never met a dog that hyper before. I had brought one of the puppies, we ended up selling that one, to her house. And I'm just gonna shape this and stick it in there. And anyway, that one dog that I brought, Camry, she was a little girl, was so overwhelmed by her. And I thought, you know what? I bet you Aston, I think we're keeping him. He's the one I showed him to you guys the other day. He's a red merle and he is so stinking cute. At first, he was taken aback by her forwardness. You know, she wasn't acting like a lady. So see, I definitely had way too much. So I'm just gonna let this kind of sit there. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. I have used IOD clay in crown molding before. Yes, I have. Yes, and it worked. So I was like, my husband was getting stressed out. I'm like, I can feel it. No problem. So anyway, so we took the dog over there. I'm gonna let that just dry for a minute. Let it get hard. And after a while, he like started playing with her, but at first he was like not having it. Okay, I think this is gonna open. I'm gonna start with vintage linen. This is my go-to linen. Go-to whites. We have 5 whites. White Swan, vintage linen, crinoline, tarnished pearl, beadboard. Tarnished Pearls has a lot of gray in it. That one you feel like you're not really getting any coverage, but you need to just let it dry. Just paint it, let it dry, do that second coat. Beadboard has a little bit of blue undertone in there. I think in my eyes, that's what I see. I'm gonna paint this one white, I think. Let's start with white. All right. So I'm just gonna put my brush in there. Technically, you should dip some paint out and not contaminate the paint, because DIY paint is all natural. It covers really well, but it's all natural, and you know, you can contaminate it. But I hadn't been painting in a while. That would have worried me. But if I'm painting like I used to paint, it's fine. I mean, this is a pint. All of the paint comes in pints, quarts, and 8 ounces. This is small. They call it the sample jar. So all of these paints are available on my website. Like I said, lisaboondesigns.com, and you're welcome to go on there and check it out and look at all the things that I have. I do have the stencils and the paint, decoupage papers, napkins like we've talked about, just a wide variety. Sweet Pickins milk paints. I have Roycycled stencils, Mara LaFay stencils, rice paper from Decoupage Queen, and decoupage paper from Roycycled. There's a wide variety. So a little bit for everybody, something for everyone. And then just recently I'm carrying concealed carry purses, but you don't have to conceal anything. It could be your passport. They're perfect for traveling. They have a locking mechanism in the zippers, which makes you feel confident and secure and safe that whatever you put in there is guaranteed to make it, not get stolen, not get taken. So I like the idea of putting a passport in there when you're traveling, maybe a lot of cash, so that you don't have a lot of cash in your wallet. So, I mean, it has its purposes, and I love it. It's made for women by women, and a small company in Texas. I love that. Mother and daughter. So that's kind of fun, right? You always love to support small businesses, but especially women-owned businesses. So I'm gonna just heat this up. We're gonna heat this and then do a second coat. But you can see my laptop is in the way, so it's like pulling on there. Let me know again what you guys did today, how you spent your weekend, where you're watching from. Let me know all the things, please. And of course, we're gonna talk about a little bit of scripture today. This is my 30 days of lives, March Madness, I'm calling it. And every day I'm sharing a little scripture with you, sometimes a quote, different projects, a little bit of everything that I do, everything that I sell, just playing with the things, and hopefully inspiring and encourage you to play as well, to sit down and have some craft therapy. You know, they say retail therapy, but craft therapy is also a real thing. I think retail therapy is a real thing too. Sometimes you have to step away and just like leisurely stroll. Sometimes you have to leisurely stroll through a store or through your supplies, you know, and just see what you can do with the things. And sometimes it's hard. You get stumped. You don't know what to do, or you're so stressed out sometimes that you feel like you don't have time, but that's when you really need to make time. So if you're watching on replay, let me know. Just say #replay and let me know that you watch and where you're watching from. So there's a few spots that are still wet, but as you can see, DIY paint dries lighter than when it's wet. And I'm probably going to hit the top, I think. I'm gonna do that now. I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly hit the top. But again, remember what I showed you with the Hobby Lobby shelf. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to sit there and stress over, oh, I went over. Just paint it. Just paint it and have fun. Just enjoy the process. That's what this is about. Enjoying the process and having a good time and making some really cool things. So it's okay. It's so okay. No worries. All right, what color? Let me see. What else do I have? I said I had, you know what? Wait, I'm stenciling. So we have old school. We have old school. We have little black dress, which is black. I want to use black for the stenciling on 2 of the items I know. I think I'm going to do this Eden, this green. What do you guys think? Hey, Linda, how are you doing? I'm thinking about painting. Look at this green. Isn't this pretty? Usually, like if you want to distress back like something that's dark, you paint it a light color and you can distress back and you see that contrast and it looks really good. And so if anything, maybe I should have done this one the green and this one the white, but there's no wrong answer. All of this stuff, I need a baby wipe. All of this stuff is going to my shop to sell. And if someone, this is the thing, if you have a booth and you do the same thing and you stress out over what should I paint it, what color should I paint it the color that you want to paint it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Someone's going to like it. And if it sits there for too long, then all you have to do is bring it back home and repaint it. You saw how little paint I just used on that one piece. So little. So don't harp on it. Just have fun. Just have fun and paint it. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for this dark green color. I think this green is beautiful. And, you know, a lot of times if you just don't apply any water, which I didn't even bring my water bottle. It's sitting over there. You can usually get things covered in one, like something like this, one application, and maybe just a few touch-ups. Because if you're doing one color, which typically I do not do on furniture, but I do on home decor most of the time. But you can, look at that color. Isn't it beautiful? The green would be pretty with some white wax over it. That's what I had stopped when I paused because I was thinking about white wax with old school. But let's try it. I've not tried white wax with this green. So Linda requested it and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I am going to be stenciling this too though. So let's see. We may have to rethink the stencil, the color of the stencil. But it could be something that's just aged and tone on tone. So let's think about it. We're gonna pick the stencil together here in a bit. We're gonna just get this nice and coated. Like I said, if you do it nice and thick, you should be able to just do one coat of paint. I do have to get my sealer. I forgot to grab it. What did you do today, Linda? What did you guys do? Let me know who's watching and what you guys did today. I know some states don't have daylight savings. Here in Kentucky, I'm in Western Kentucky, we do have that. So it kind of messed with us, we were saying earlier. And, you know, I don't know, I'm just extra tired. But I feel like tomorrow I'm going to be grateful when it's still light out and it's early. My daughter was like, okay, so that means like at 8 o'clock it's still going to be light, right? And I was like, well, eventually, yeah. Like it just doesn't happen overnight, but you know, somewhat. She's like, oh, good. Oh, good. You know, it's hard when it gets dark so early, right? Like I don't like it. I wish it just stayed like this and it didn't go back. Some of those states that don't do it, I think they have it right. Like, I don't want to go back and lose an hour. I just rather stay like this, and then I don't know any different, right? Okay, let's hit this with the heat gun so that we can sit it down, and then we can do the top. See how it dries? It dries lighter. Dries lighter, but then when we seal it, it kind of goes in between, kind of. Grocery store, you made chicken stew and worked on a journal swap. Oh, a journal page swap. Oh, that sounds like fun. So I didn't get home. well, I was home all day cleaning, and then we went to see my mother-in-law, and of course we left kind of late, and I have chicken also in the refrigerator that I picked up from Sam's yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to cook it. And I actually had thought about like some kind of a chicken stewy kind of thing, but we went to her house and we picked up pizza and I just had a slice, and I was like, okay, I need to get started on my live because I still have a lot of things to do. I have some products that I have to price and get ready to bring to the store tomorrow. And then I figured some of this stuff that we had going on here, I can take over to the store as well. It's a little bit thick right there. So whenever you lay it on a little bit thick, you're going to have some texture, and that's just good, especially if we white wax it. You could also black wax it. So I didn't add any water at all, which normally I do add a little bit of water. The heat actually helps speed up the curing process. DIY paint, because it's all natural, it does not cure overnight. It doesn't cure in 30 days. It cures over time, and heating it up speeds up that process. It's kind of like an adobe finish, you know, whenever they make adobe homes, that sun, that intense sun is what hardens the clay and gives it that rock hard durability. And so DIY paint has two different types of clay. Let me see if, I think it's these that have it. So here are the ingredients, because I don't say this enough. There's only 9 ingredients with DIY paint. I'm gonna put this here. There's only 9 ingredients, all right? Love is the first one because we all love our DIY paint. Water. So water is the primary ingredient. Clay, porcelain clay, chalk, alcohol, ester, because ester is a binder, and then cellulose, pigments, and there's a preservative to make sure that it doesn't go bad. So that's why you have to be careful. So everything is natural. It's 0 VOC. It's better than some makeup. I mean, it does not go through the blood-brain barrier. So it's very, very safe for you and your family and everyone around you. I painted recently a cork board. If you go on my Facebook page, I showed the picture. I did it in an office, a retail establishment. It was their headquarters. And there's a lady there that she's very sensitive to smells. I was like, no worries, there's no smell. This is all natural paint. They were like, oh, okay. Because we were, painting indoors. There's no smell. Like with the dogs and people around. One time, there's a very well-known paint. I wanted to try it, and I grabbed it at a vendor mall when I was traveling one day, and I saw it. And I thought, I've been wanting to try this. I hear it's really, really durable, and it's really good. So I was like, I'm going to try it. And they had this beautiful, like, rose gold color, and that's my color. So I was like, this is perfect. I'm going to do something for myself. And I did. You can't see it, but it's in front of me. When I did it, I painted it in my living room, as I do a lot of furniture. And my husband was like, what in the world is that? What have you done? What are you painting with inside the house? It smelled so bad, but not just for that day. It smelled for a few days. It stayed in the air. It was terrible. It's a well-known brand. I know someone who retails it, she's a big supporter of that paint, and I can't imagine painting that inside. It stunk so bad. I have some in my closet still. I'm trying to cover up that red, so I'm going a little bit wonky on purpose because, again, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? But we needed to get rid of that red, I think. I think so. I didn't like it. It's a pretty red. I just, I don't think a lot of people have red in their house. Maybe I'm wrong, but I sell a lot of stuff, and I try to use different color paints. I don't usually sell a lot of things that are red. Occasionally I sold one red dresser one time, you know, because I wanted to go through all the colors. And it was marquee, so it's deep blue red. It turned out beautiful. I had black behind it, so it did really well. It was really, really pretty. We're just gonna let that dry. I think that looks so much better. Like this color wood with black, just kind of classic, kind of really pretty. I painted a custom hutch for someone. She was Spanish, Mexican. They're very colorful. She wanted that marquee red and black underneath. She wanted it two-tone. I did that for her. She kind of had an updated kind of farmhouse look. Worked for her and worked beautifully, but most people here in Kentucky aren't buying red from me. Sorry, I was so thirsty. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. And then I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna paint this ceramic glazed pot. I'm thinking the charcoal and white waxing. So Linda got ahead of me, but that's what I'm thinking. Guess what? I can't open it. I have a, you know what? While I step away from my desk, so to speak, I'm gonna pick up my thingamabob. I got my screwdriver and Big Top, so we can seal everything. Oh, I didn't get the white wax. Let me get the white wax so that we can just roll with the punches. It's right here on top because it is on top, right? Nope. Nope. Where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. It was on top, just on the wrong side from where I thought it was. Okay, because we just used some white wax the other day. So I've got white wax and Big Top. And we're gonna do old school. I have used a skeleton key before. I guess I'm gonna use this little brush because that's all I brought. All right, I'm not gonna use any water. I have lots of red in my kitchen. I collect red-handled utensils. I know, I thought it was gonna be great, you know, like I did a lot of red too, and it just wouldn't sell. Because I thought with the chickens, like chickens are really big here, and I thought, oh yeah, that's gonna sell. It didn't. You know what I'm thinking? I know I'm gonna do a light. So your first is gonna be scratch coat, okay? If you want some texture, this already has texture, but if you wanted to add more texture, when you're painting over glass or ceramic or anything that's slick, you can obviously use Salvation Solution, which is DIY Paint's primer. But you could also add some baking soda into your mix and pounce it, and it creates a beautiful texture, and it looks like pottery. It literally looks like pottery. Christmas is the time for red. That's true. Christmas is the time for red. I don't have a problem with red. I've gone through I go through spells like where I had red, and I've even had like paprika. I was really big into paprika. I still have some accents of it in some places, and pillows and stuff, like with teal, because it looks so good with teal. But I've always loved black and gray, always. Like since I was a teenager, my bedroom was gray. So I was ahead of the trend. I've always loved gray. I'm just gonna see that white spot. That's the clay. I'm just gonna go ahead and seal it up. I think I'm going to, before I mess it up, let me get the heat gun and let's heat this up. Try not to burn up my hands. Now this one, it's hard for me to hold it. It's drying really fast. You can see how much lighter, like this one, it shows the big difference. So if you wanted to add some baking soda, you do it before you paint your first coat. Like you mix a little bit and then you can pounce it on, or you can also paint it. I have two clear vases on the other side of this wall that I did years ago on a live, and I kept it. I'll have to remember to bring it and show it to you guys one day this week so that you can see what I'm talking about. It does not look like glass at all. So do it your first coat, then your second coat you can add stipple and add some different colors and, you know, really make it look like it's a custom pottery. It works out really, really well. But you can add more texture if you wanted to on your second coat. You can also use salt wash. I have some. I do have some of that. Oh, there's something in it and it's like blowing up. I don't want that in my face. I don't know what it is. I didn't realize there was anything in there. It was so dark that I didn't notice it. All right. So because this is such dry wood, this is already dry. I didn't even hit that with the dryer. This is halfway dry. So I just wanted to do this. I'm gonna do the lip inside so that you'll never know unless it, you know, unless you drop it and it chips. So you want to make sure you get that seal, you know, make it nice and painted. All right. So again, your first coat, I'm going to put this here. Don't overbrush with DIY paint in general, but especially on a slick surface. Do not overbrush it because it's gonna. All you're gonna do is pull up the paint and keep pulling up the paint, and you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna waste a lot of paint. All right. So what I want to do is I want to grab some of my stencils. Again, we're gonna be focusing. Hey, Maureen. We're gonna be using Painr stencils today. I don't know which one I'm thinking. So I pulled a couple of them, but I'm thinking that one of these designs would be really, really pretty. I'm going to be using this stencil. All of these are available on my website. I think I'm going to use this stencil for one of the boxes. So let's see. So I was trying to debate. Okay, so help me with this debate. I can leave this wood and stencil this black, or I can paint this black and then stencil it white. All right, so that is the thing. This is a wall box, you know, shadow box, like shelf box. It had this weird bow, metal bow here, a red one. We took it off. I asked my husband to take it off while I was getting ready. So we can paint the side black and stencil it white, or any color, but I'm just saying, or just stencil it black. What say you? Okay. Do 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 do. Y'all, your time's up. Hit me up. What should we do? Tell me. I need to hear. What do you guys think? Wood with black stencil. Linda, what do you think? Wood with black stencil? I kind of tend to agree. The only thing is going to be holding this taut. Holding this. I wonder if I should do it like this. So I'm going to do my trick from yesterday. Stencil black, Missy said. Hey, Missy. Linda said, paint the sides black. Okay, we got two stencils. That's what we're gonna do. I am gonna use Little Black Dress. Now listen, if we mess this up royally, then I'm gonna paint the whole thing, right? Like, easy. That's an easy. I'm gonna take a little bit of black, just a little bit. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna take a little bit at a time. I have just like a plastic right there. I'm gonna have to hold this, right? So what I'm gonna do is, I wish that I could get those teardrop. I wish this was like a little bit wider to get like the whole design. It's hard to tell like if I've got it straight. Let me see. I want to go to the bottom. I think I've got it straight. So I'm going to use one of these brushes. I'm going to dab it into my paint. And I'm going to go like this. So this is only my second time doing this. And it's hard because I don't know what I have and what I don't have here. Like I'm trying to hold it still. If I mess it up, I figured we'll just paint the whole thing. So I use this in my mixed media. I watched somebody do it and I thought, that's genius. It's genius. She had watched somebody else do it and she's been trying it and she's like, man, it never fails. Like it just does it. It does a good job of not leaking, you know, not bleeding. So I thought, I want to try it on actual furniture, like, you know, or a wood piece and see if it actually does work. But this is risky because obviously it's all over the place. There's no way for me to hold this down because I'm doing just the sides. So I figured it's worth a try, right? We won't know unless we try. And then we try again, right? Okay. I want to hold this down and then just... Guys, are you seeing the sneak peek? Are you being sneaky? Guys, can we do a dance? It's time to do a dance. Hoo, hoo. It's a stencil dance. Hoo, hoo. Hoo, 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 hoo. Uh-oh, they're gonna get the dog's bark. It's just Mama. Guys, it worked. You can get some of the stencil tacky. Yes, I have some. But stencil that, ooh, is this coming up? I'm gonna have to glue that. That's the wood. It's not the stencil. So when this is all dry, I'm gonna have a needle with wood and I'm gonna clamp that down. This is actually coming up. So that's easy fix. That's easy. But it's drying so fast. Okay, can we do it again? Can we do it again? Let's not get too excited and too proud of ourselves, right? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's slow our roll a little bit. And by us, I mean me. I love it, Maureen said. Thank you. I love this too. I don't think that I use this stencil. So this is really good. Okay, I'm going to hold it down here. I'm trying to get it kind of where I can get a little bit of the circles on both sides. That's the trick of it. And see, even if I had the tacky spray, like I wonder how good that would work. It could very well work. Who's gonna run to the Dollar Tree? My friend was asking, what is that brush? She didn't even know what that was. I mean, this is a makeup brush. Everyone's been using it for the to distress oxides. So of course it made sense to use it for a stencil. Like I just didn't think about it, right? Which actually I have. I have done that with the Distress Oxide, but I never thought to use it with paint. Sometimes it takes somebody else doing it. Like we all, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. We're just all figuring things out on our own, trying to make whatever we can work. But this is so good. I'm glad we did this. Yeah, I didn't think about doing this with paint, but I definitely have done it with the Distress Oxide. Oh my gosh, guys. That is beautiful. Oh, and look at it like that. Y'all. I think it's dry. We're gonna continue this masterpiece. So, every day I'm gonna talk about scripture, right? We're gonna share a quote or thought in scripture. And today is Zechariah 4:10. Do you know what that is? Do not despise the day of small beginnings. And the reason that I wanted to share that one, it's stunning, Linda said. We just say to ourselves, duh. Yeah, like duh. All right, hold on. I need more paint. So I'm just putting this on my little plastic. I mean, y'all, I'm using a half a teaspoon here. And I still have some here, so I'm gonna wipe my brush and then rub it. Because, you know, who wants to lose paint? I don't want to waste paint, especially DIY paint. So a lot of times we struggle and we're trying to do all the things and we think that, oh, I should be somewhere by now. I should be making more money. I should be this. And, you know, we're comparing. And the reason we compare so much is because social media, really, now that more than ever, right? We've got, everyone is doing all of the things, so we think. They're showing their best foot forward. Everybody is putting, you know, you'll take, how many times do you take a picture before you post it? Where before, you know, you took a picture, it was film. You didn't know if your eyes were open or closed and what your expression was, right? So like now we're used to like looking at ourselves before we do anything and approving it, making sure that it's, you know, perfect. And so here we are, each one of us, even the ones that would do that, are comparing ourselves to everybody else. And I should be here or I should be there. I should not have messed that up right there. We're gonna let that go though. And so we go through all of this stuff and, you know, we start something and we think we should be at a different level. Oh, that's why. We think that, you know, we should be further along. So, and then we beat ourselves up because we're not. But the Bible says, do not despise the day of small beginnings. And so then I was thinking about that. Let me see. Do I have my scripture here? The scripture actually says, let me see. This is New King James. For who has despised the day of small things? For these 7 rejoice to see the plumb line in the hand of Zerubbabel. They are the eyes of the Lord, which scan to and fro throughout the whole earth. So another, I'm just going to read this in another New Living Translation. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin, to see the plumb line in Zerubbabel's hand. So Zerubbabel, you know, plumb line is like a builder's term. And so he was building something, and and the Father said, you know, I delight in that because I see his I see the work. I see his heart behind the work, and I see his authenticity, and I see his character, and I see that he's being integrous. And that's what I love. So even though it might look, it's small right now, it's not like a big, huge event. It's not a big, huge business. It's not a, you know, whether a family, whatever it is that you're trying to build and grow. Don't despise the day of small things, the days of small beginnings, like when you first started, because you can go back and remember how you felt, right? Can't you? Or maybe you should go back to when you didn't have the thing, when you didn't have access or the influence or the money or the idea. You were just wanting the idea, whatever it is. Like, he cares more about the plumb line, meaning that you do it straight and narrow, that you do it with integrity and carefulness and, you know, with good intentions and to his specifications, that you're doing it to please him. Oops, let me see. How did I do that? So you know what I'm going to do? Oh, I see. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna let that go. I raised it up too much and I was gonna try to fill it in, but I just realized, well, let me see. I can do this. I can bring this down. The only thing is gonna mess up the design on the other side because it actually continues. So I'm gonna do this here, kind of faded if I can. Not so intense, maybe. I think that works. Yeah. So here we go. I love this. I love this. I absolutely love this so much. Wow. What a beautiful design. Okay. So I'm going to put this, face down here and I'm going to let that dry. So this I'll take to my sink and I'll just wash it with soap and water. I can wait an hour. I can do it right now. I can wait till tomorrow because I'm using DIY paint. It's going to come right off. So while we wait, let me just finish that thought and while I wash my hands. So I just want to encourage you that whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever it is that you want to do, or the thing that you are doing right now, and if you aren't where you think you should be, it's okay. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing if you're doing it for him. And he knew exactly where you were going to be at every single moment anyway. And so then I was looking and it says, where is it? Okay, Luke 16:10. Whoever is faithful with very little will also be faithful with very much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will be also dishonest with much. So when we're doing it for him, when we're doing it for the audience of one, and we're truly surrendered to his purpose, his ideas, his intentions, and we're just carrying it out, we're exactly where we're supposed to be. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't compare yourself to yourself 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a week ago, a month ago. Just keep on trucking along and do the thing that you're supposed to do. It's one step at a time. I showed a makeover, you know, of that cork board that I was talking about. And it's such an insignificant little thing to paint that cork board, but what an impact it had. So all of the little steps that we take really do make a big impact. So I want to encourage you to just keep on trucking along today. Don't let the enemy steal your joy. All right, so here we go. I want to do this on the white. Let's look at this. Let me put this here. Let me look at this. I think I need another white coat. So let's do a quick coat. It's 8:42. Let's do a quick coat. And again, I'm using vintage linen. And I don't care about the bottom. I just care about the sides right now, because I want this to be white. I'm not doing distressing. I usually do. I love distressing. I'm spilling. I'm spilling. Vintage linen is my favorite white. Tarnished pearl is also, I love it because it's kind of a great tone. Like I said, we're just gonna seal this up. Dry it up. Hi, Diana. How are you? It's gonna take just a second for it to dry. I wanted to try to at least finish these 2 boxes before we say goodnight. I need this to be completely dry, and you just want to move it around, and you can see where it's wet because it looks a lot darker. Okay. So this is another Mare LaFay stencil. I'm good. How are you? Been loving seeing how your projects turned out. Thank you. Diana lives here in town, so that's kind of fun to have somebody here in town. Well, I have a few. Kim was watching last night. She's my friend. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm going to put him in the middle-ish. I'm going to use the same black brush. So we're doing the same thing. Okay. It's hard to do it one-handed, but we're going to get there. This is the best thing I've ever done. Seriously, this changes everything about stenciling. If you've ever had a hard time stenciling, get you one of these brushes. Like, super fast, crystal clear, crisp. And a lot of times when I would do I always did the pouncing method after I realized that it really hurts my hand. So then I started doing, because I used to do the swirly motion, and then it was hurting my hand, and so then I was like, okay, I need to just do the pouncing motion, but I don't like that one either. So I don't know that this is going to necessarily line up, but we're going for this because it's springtime, right? It's springtime. Clocks are forward, so we shouldn't have any more bad weather, Kentucky. I hope Kentucky got the memo. Did I move it a little bit? I may have. Can you believe this? Okay, I definitely have to dry it because it's a little bit wet. Because I don't want to set it down and it smudge. But this is a great way to upcycle things. You know, a little bit of paint. I'm talking, we used very, very little bit of paint, right? Very little bit of paint and a little bit of time. And especially if you want to use one of these stencils with one of these brushes, like, it's no time at all. Like, this is super fast. I like this so much. Oop, didn't get the antennas. You could always draw them on. Okay. I have the radio playing in the living room and I can hear Nash 104.9, and I'm cracking up because every now and then I hear some of my friends doing their Shop Local and announcement that they're a proud sponsor of the Shop Local show. I didn't have a radio. I never listened to the radio at home. I actually didn't listen to the radio much before I started on the radio. And then in the haul with all of the stuff that I got, that I've told you guys about, that one house where I got a whole bunch of stuff, there was two stereos and I grabbed them. One did not work, but a big boombox one worked. And so I have that on the radio. So the side ones didn't connect that well, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Okay. I thought I saw a different text there. All right. So the same thing with this one. We're going to clean that one later. Okay. I think, is this charcoal? No, this is not black. Did I have a black one? Oh yeah, this one. I'm gonna use the rest of my paint right here that I have. I think I want this to be black. I might show a little bit of the white. I don't want to touch this in the wrong place. I don't like the way it looks on top. I think it'll look better with the black. But you know, you do how you want to do it. If you're upcycling, play and see what you like. I think it's just too white for me. Like I said, I don't really like a lot of white. I can appreciate white furniture and distressing it. I don't like to paint it. It's very boring to me, and I'm always disappointed when I have to do white furniture. But it always comes out great, and I love it. I mean, and I genuinely love it. I think it looks good, but it's just, in my room, I do have a piece that has tarnished pearl and some faded burlap and some neutrals and a little bit of lavender, which is, I'm drawing a blank on the name. It's a gray lavender that DIY has. I can't even think. Okay, where's my other stencil? Okay, I think I want to do this stencil. And you, just in case you didn't know, if you wanted, and maybe that's what I should do. Hey, let's do something different. Let's do something different. Let me get clear wax. Do I have enough in this one? I don't know if I have enough, but we're gonna see if we have enough. This is a white wax. That has a white wax in it. I don't know. I usually use these chip brushes. I think this is clear wax. I don't know if I have enough. We're gonna play. I think I might. There's a lot there. Okay. I'm gonna white wax this. I mean clear wax. This is clear wax. DIY paint, clear wax. Now this brush, it's really hard, so hopefully it doesn't distress anything. When you are waxing your piece, or even you're sealing it with Big Top, if you're heavy-handed, you're gonna distress it. So try not to be heavy-handed. Try to get it on there if you don't want it distressed, because DIY paint, when it's wet, is easily distressed. It's one of the things I love about it, because you don't have to fight to get a chippy look. You can literally do it very easily. Now, Linda requested for me to white wax this, and we are. I did a live one day, and I used a stencil, and I used the pigment powders, the making powders, and I was like, I wonder if this works. And I haven't done it again since then. I'm gonna show you. Hopefully it works. You know, when you do something on the TVs, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But see how much darker it looks? So when it dries, it's going to tone down significantly. Significantly. So I use very, very little wax. If this was furniture, I would be doing 2 coats of this. Let me see. Well, I wanted a lint-free rag. Oh, I see it right there. I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to buff this in. So, see how the green comes off? Because it's DIY paint, right? It's going to come off. I'm just going to buff this in. And it helps you to remove the excess. Now, if there's any crumbs or anything on here, it's going to stick. So I'm trying to be careful. Look at how beautiful and rich this is. Let me see. Is this nice and coated? Let me see. It just kind of smooths it all out. Now, I don't usually do this when I do the furniture. Like, sometimes I do certain things for some things, and then I don't do it for the other. All right. I'm going to let this sit here for a minute, and then we're going to come back to it. Let's see what we're doing with this. This is the ceramic. Okay. See how it's, you can see through the paint. So now your second coat gets in there, and I do want some water. I just want a little bit of water because my brush got a little bit hard and I don't want to peel off any of the furniture. What is wrong? I'm tired. I'm saying all the weird words. I don't want to peel off any of the paint. Oh my Lord. There we go. Now we're going to get smooth in there. So this is what I would do. Anything that I paint that has texture or layers, I do upside down and then right side up, because I can't see everything upside down, but I can see it if I turn it back and forth, you know, up and down. Now, I did look this up. It wasn't anything important that I could see, but you know, it had a chip in it anyway, and I fixed it with the clay. And nobody were gonna buy it anyway, right? So maybe somebody would buy it now because it's a nice neutral color. I had actually intended on white waxing this, so let's see if we can get this to a point where we can finish it so that you can see. And what it's gonna do is all that texture, it's gonna make it come out and you'll be able to see it. So let's go ahead and dry this, and then we'll turn it upside down and we'll dry the bottom. I mean, paint the bottom. I need sleep. I need sleep. All right. It's getting there. It's getting there. You see it changing right before your eyes. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to put this down here. I do have to seal that, but we could wax it. I have some big top. Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to lay this down. We're going to take our white wax and we're going to use it through the stencil. Have you ever tried this before? It really does work. I've done it, like I said. Let's see how it works. So the only difference is we're not going to buff it, and that's another reason why I wanted to buff it when I did, because we're not going to buff it. But I need to not take the move. I can't move the stencil, and I can't take it off either. So I'm going to go like this, just back and forth. Now it's gonna dry because that's wet. And here's what we're gonna have to do too, is we're gonna have to, I don't know that I can, I'm not gonna worry about the design aspect of it. Oops. We got some white underneath. Okay, let me get some of that white off. Okay. If I take some of it off, it's okay. All right. I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it a little bit lighter. So it makes it look aged. White wax makes things look aged. And it doesn't even, you don't even have to get all the spots either, because it makes it, see, I kind of like it aged better than, this one is like, boom. That's a little bit aged. I'm going to wait and do these tomorrow. But what do you guys think? Use wax as with stenciling to get two-tone effects, and then if you really wanted later, after it's all dried, put some black wax around the edges, and then it gives it a really cool effect when you mix your waxes. Who's gonna try it? Raise hands. Even if you're watching it on replay, raise your hand if you're gonna try it. Let me know. Or have you ever tried it? Let me know what your experience is. Were you able to get it done? Okay. I want to be able to finish painting this one because I'd like to white wax it so that you can see what it looks like. I still have so much to do today. Tomorrow is the Patchwork of Friendship. Who's going to be watching? I'm on at 2:30. Remember, I couldn't decide if it was 2 or 2:30. It's 2:30. And I'm making a quilt for someone that I really don't know. I like white wax over dark. Yes, me too. If you use white wax over skeleton key or even old school, it could give you that look of cement, which is really cool. That's why I wanted to white wax this, and I want you to see what it looks like. If I don't finish, I could always show it to you tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, Tuesday. So Tuesday, I can't remember what I'm doing Tuesday, but Wednesday is Mixed Media Madness event with Christy Sloan. She was the host. I hit it. You could see. Let me cover that up. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's okay. Everything's fine. Nothing happened. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. So this is old school, which is like the old slate board. When us that were young enough to have blackboards. But then we also had the green slate boards. Who remembers those? I don't even know what they have now. They probably don't. They probably have nothing. Over navy is nice for nautical. Ooh, Linda. There she goes, having that thinking cap on today. Oh, that's an old school saying too. Yes, I've not tried that. I don't do a lot of nautical though, but I think I would like to try that just to see. I love the beach. Like, I love the beach. but I don't like nautical decor. Okay. So, you always hear me say, this is still wet. So I'm gonna wait a second. You always hear me say, clear wax first and then white wax. And that's what we did on that green thing, right? I did it because I wanted to seal it. And so I could have done it with Big Top. You can seal it with Big Top and then white wax over it. And you still would have had a two-tone effect because it would have been matte and shiny or satiny plus the green and the white. So you would have had like two different things going on. But I wanted to seal it all really well. So I sealed it with the clear and then the white. If you go straight in for the white, you're going to get a completely different look. And you want to do this fast, okay? You want to go ahead and get it on. The white, the chalk eats it up. And you want to kind of, and don't use a napkin. Use a lint-free rag. It gives it a completely different, worn, kind of like I said, like satin. That's, oh my God. I'm saying all these weird words. Cement. Y'all are, I really am tired. I really am. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on with me. It's still hot too. It's so hot. Like, I do not recommend waxing in the heat, like with the heat, because it's the heat is from the heat gun, obviously. That's really hot right there where I just touched. So it's also going to pick up the texture, how I painted it, the texture that was on the ceramic. It looks like cement, right? We need to seal the inside. So hopefully, I always put a little thing. This was hand painted because I'm going to sell it. I don't want them putting it in the sink. I don't want them getting water all over it. Although after a while, it will be fine and the water will beat up and, but if it's a lot of water, it'll get ruined. But look at that. Me either. How about 4th of July? Now you're talking. Now you're talking. So, what do you guys think? So, we got white wax directly. We've got a two-tone white and clear wax design using the stencil, the Painr stencil. I absolutely love this. Which is the name of this one? Man, I have to look it up. It doesn't have the name of it. But she is the stencil queen. Like, she has been doing stencils for a long time. She took many years ago. She had taken many classes. She talks about this. She has registration marks on all of the stencils. So if you're doing a repeating pattern, like this would be like, you could make your walls look like wallpaper. And what I like about it is if you use the spray, the pixie spray on the back, you can get it onto your wall. You wait a few seconds and then let it get tacky, put it on your wall, and then you can put an all over color, and then you can put a darker color around the edges and get like a two-tone effect. Like, I love doing that. Or just the one is perfectly fine. And this is a really nice pattern. I mean, look at that. A really cool pattern. This is also going to be really cool for mixed media art. We might use this one tomorrow or Wednesday. I need to make sure I wash this really well because it's got wax on it. And I guess we're not. Maybe. I think before I seal this one, I don't know if I want to add, I wanted to add, it's too plain for me. How did you know, right? Remember sometimes I said, sometimes simple is good, like the birdhouse. I just wanted something simple because it had been all over the place crazy. And then sometimes more is more. And today, I want the text. I think I'm going to do this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this one. So I'm going to use, I'm just going to hit this. Tell me that's not better. Hey, hey, hey. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, please. It dries so fast. That looks so much better to me. And you know what would look even better? Is a little bit of gold. But I don't have any. Well, and then I'm done. Just a little bit of gold. What did I do? They're not all the same. They're all a little different, all unique in their own right. But homemade is that way, right? I wonder if we should do something with the... Maybe add a little bit of gold to his wings. Because everything's better with gold. Yes. What do you guys think? I love it, man. I love it. I love it. No matter, okay, so I read that one, and here we are. Hey, I have not been neglecting, but there wasn't really anybody on YouTube, but now I do have some. Hello. So this is what we did today. We painted this in Eden. This is DIY Paints Eden. This is Aviary. I lied. This is Eden. So Eden, DIY paint. Then I clear waxed it, and then we used this stencil by Painr. It's on my website. And we did white wax. So I've got to do the other two sides. I got to let this dry. I love the way that turned out. We did this in DIY Paints Vintage Linen. We did this stencil by Painr. It's on my website. And we did the black with Little Black Dress by DIY Paint. Then I just added some gold. And I'm gonna seal it with DIY Paint's Big Top. It's a polytype top coat. So I will do that here in a second. We painted this with Old School, DIY Paint's Old School, and then we sealed it with white wax. So it makes it look worn, old, cementy, kind of pottery, because you can see the texture all throughout. The white wax will hit it, and then this had been chipped. We sealed it with, we put some glue and some air dry clay, and this way you can't really tell. It's perfectly imperfect. So we have that finished. Oh, I was like, I knew I did something else. We have this sitting here. We painted the this black. It was red. I took off this red metal bow, and we used this stencil on the sides. How gorgeous is that? I absolutely love it. This is also on my website. So the website's on my link, lisaboondesigns.com. Thank you, Linda. She says very pretty. I love the way this turned out. I'm like, do I really want to sell this? Like, look. I could put little things in there on my wall. I gotta think about this. I like the way this turned out. So here we go. And we stenciled using a makeup brush. Fabulous. Now that one I'm gonna seal it with clear wax, I think. But I'm gonna use an actual brush. Actually, look at this. I had it here. So this is the DIY paintbrush. I don't like it for paint. I don't like it. I don't like it. So I like it for waxing. This is my new wax brush now. Look at how lovely. This does such a great job. And you know why I like it for it? Because the DIY paint for me is really heavy. I don't have problems blending. Debbie designed this because she had trouble blending. I don't have problem blending. I love to blend paint. This is so soft that you cannot over brush it to the point where it peels, it, you know, distresses the paint. You know what I said about don't use a hard brush? So you can't mess it up. You can't mess it up. So this is like foolproof waxing. I love to wax with this. Oh, I just said I was supposed to put some glue somewhere. I'm gonna have to wait for this to like dry before I do that. I forgot. I just wanted to show you. So I need to get this all. So now what this does is it obviously this is wood. Can you see the sheen on that wood where it was dry? It was dry. And now it's got some life. If you have a piece of furniture, my husband has a Victrola that it was his grandmother's. He won't let me paint it. So I was like, at least I'm gonna wax it. It needs something because it was dry. So I am out to do my boots this way because my boots need some love. And so I'm gonna use some DIY paint on my boots. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Let's just go ahead and, we have this. Let's just call it done. Forget about sealing it with the poly. Let's just wax this and be done. This way I can go to bed and all I have to do is price this stuff and bring it to the store. And it's easy. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. You just want to make sure you get it everywhere. And I really don't have a lot of wax in there. So hopefully I've got enough where I've been able to get it on here. So this is a fun fact. I like wax because you can buff it or not buff it. I never buff it. Some people, you know how I did it before I put the white wax, I went ahead and I buffed it. I put it all over. I don't do that with furniture. And the reason I don't know what I just did, but I got something on there. I'm just gonna leave it. I just put it on there. I buff it after it's dry, not when it's wet. Tung oil. I have tung oil. I sell tung oil. That's a good idea. I was just telling my mother-in-law about it. She found an old butter press that from her grandmother. It's old and it's cracked, it's dry and brittle. I was like, I'll get some of my tung oil. Tung oil is very good. It penetrates very deeply and it hardens, and then it's food safe after 2 weeks. So it's super, super good. So I've got to clean all this stuff. So if something is going to be a bleeder, remember I said I thought this was going to be a bleeder. If you top coat it with a clear like this, a poly type top coat, it's more liable to come through and bleed. If you wax it for some reason, it doesn't. But you know, a lot of times, of course, I let stuff sit, especially if it's white, and I'm going to see, is it a bleeder, is it not a bleeder? Because if it's bleeding, you want to seal it with a primer and then go over and paint it. Because you can paint. It's still going to come through. So don't waste your paint and don't waste your time. So DIY paint is the best products on earth. I feel like I love it. I use it for anything and everything, as you can see. We dyed some fabric the other day, and we're gonna do that. I hope that I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I might do it. I ran out of time. I should have done that today, but I wanted to do it for my quilt. If I don't get to, then I will do it for a project in later on. But I have a whole bunch of white fabric and I want to dye it. So we're gonna play at some point, all right? All right, keep following me, subscribe, like all the things, follow the things, join my mail list. You can do that from all my links. If you're watching on Facebook, you could do exclamation point email if you're not on my email list, or exclamation shop to shop. You just have to hit my links on YouTube and do all the things, all right? All right, have a blessed day. Sleep well, sleep a long night restfully, and wake up rejuvenated and great. That's my prayer for you, that, and then you have an extraordinary day tomorrow, okay? All right, have a blessed day. Bye. Oops.